Hi everyone, welcome to the inaugural episode of Optimise, where we discuss everything solar and energy storage. My name's Ryan Orr, I'm the owner and installer for Optimum Solar Energy, and today we're going to be reviewing SolarEdge's single phase 5 kilowatt energy hub inverter. Now before we jump into the review of the inverter, just want to briefly just get it out there, we're not here to throw shade at any other brands, and I'm certainly not here to influence you and say that this is better than that. There's plenty of other installers in the industry that'll do that, we're going to leave it up to their capable hands. That being said, let's jump into the review. Now before we talk about the inverter, I just want to briefly touch on SolarEdge's concept of operation. Now SolarEdge is called an optimized system. Now it's similar to a string system in the sense of it still has a wall mounted inverter, which you can see here. The key difference being it has an optimizer attached to the back of every single panel on the roof. Now this is what gives you your panel level monitoring. So you get your system output like you do with any other inverter, but you also can see what each panel is generating on the roof, okay? Very briefly, we've brushed over it. We will go over this in more depth along with the monitoring in another episode, but just brief little chat about that. Right, let's jump into the inverter. Now, this is the 5 kilowatt energy hub. Now this is what's called a hybrid inverter. Now what that means is you can directly connect a battery to this inverter, so a DC coupled solution. Now whether that be SolarEdge's own Energy Bank battery or the LG Prime battery, it's compatible with both options. So you've got two great solutions for this inverter for storage. Now that being said, if you do decide to connect a battery to this inverter, you can oversize your array to 200%. That being said, 5 kilowatts, you can do a 10 kilowatt array on your roof. Now I can hear a bit of head scratching going on at home. Why on earth would I oversize my system if the inverter's only a 5 kilowatt output? And that's a good question. The larger the array you have, the larger your peak generation window is going to be. That means you're more likely to consume more of your solar. You're less likely to drain the battery. You will get partial cycles, but less likely to get full cycles unless there's no PV at all or it's nighttime. So your longevity of your battery is going to last longer, and you give yourself more of a chance to keep that battery topped up until nighttime when you actually need it. So, but yeah, so that's the reason why you'd oversize. Now, two other things about this inverter as well. SolarEdge does have its very own EV charger that's going to be compatible with this. That's coming out a little later in the year. And there's also a generator input for this inverter as well, and we'll know a little bit more about that later in the year. So that being said, it's a nice looking inverter. Wi-Fi connectivity is very good, never have an issue with comms, which is great. You can still directly connect the wires in underneath, so it still complies with standards. Quite an aesthetically nice looking install, which is always good. So yeah, there you have it. Nice and brief, guys. Short,